In the vast expanse of the New Mexican desert, something unseen stirs. It's a mystery, a whispered legend, a chill that runs down the spine of the most courageous. This is the tale of the Skinwalkers. Skinwalkers, or Yi-Nald-Lushi, originate from Navajo folklore. They are whispered about in hushed tones, a taboo topic that instills a bone-deep fear in those who dare to speak their name. The Navajo people, known for their rich and vivid culture, have always held a profound respect for these entities. The Skinwalkers are not mere figments of wild imaginations, but a crucial part of the Native American tapestry, woven with threads of fear and reverence. Legend has it that these Skinwalkers are powerful witches who can shapeshift into animals, blending into the wilderness, unseen and unheard. They move with the stealth of the desert wind, their presence only marked by a sudden chill in the air, a fleeting shadow, or an unsettling rustle in the underbrush. Their supernatural abilities extend far beyond mere transformation. Some say they can run faster than a bullet, possess the minds of their victims, and even mimic the voices of your loved ones. They are masters of deception, cloaked in the darkness of the night, preying on the innocent. But why do they instill such fear? Because their power comes with a gruesome price. To become a Skinwalker, one must commit the most atrocious act, the killing of a close kin. This act of ultimate betrayal is what grants them their terrifying abilities, making them a symbol of fear and a testament to the dark underbelly of the supernatural world. Yet, these are not just tales to frighten children or cautionary stories to keep the curious at bay. They are deeply ingrained in the culture, a constant reminder of the balance between the natural and supernatural, the seen and the unseen. For a group of unsuspecting tourists, this legend was about to become all too real. The sandy dunes of the New Mexican desert were about to unfold a story, a chilling encounter with the unseen fear, the Skinwalkers. Their vacation was about to turn into a terrifying journey into the heart of ancient folklore. A journey of exploration soon turned into a nightmare. That's how the story of this group of tourists began when they decided to venture into the vast, enigmatic landscape of the New Mexican desert. They were a motley crew of thrill-seekers and adventure enthusiasts, each carrying a spark of excitement in their eyes. The desert, with its sprawling expanses of sand and sky, was a siren's call to their adventurous spirits. They had heard tales of its beauty, its grandeur, and its mystery, and they were eager to witness it all with their own eyes. As they ventured deeper into the desert, the world around them transformed. The familiar paved roads gave way to an unending sea of sand and shrubs. The towering skyscrapers were replaced by colossal sand dunes, standing tall under the relentless sun. The desert was a world apart, a world that ran on its own rules, a world that was a testament to the raw, untamed power of nature. But the desert is as treacherous as it is beautiful. Soon, the group found themselves stranded, with their navigational equipment failing and their vehicles stuck in the desert's unforgiving grip. Panic set in, followed by a wave of disbelief. They were miles away from civilization, lost in a sea of sand and silence. Their initial excitement was replaced by a growing sense of dread. The desert, which had seemed so inviting in the daylight, now felt menacing under the setting sun. Their laughter and chatter died down, replaced by the eerie silence of the desert. Confusion and fear took hold. They were alone, vulnerable, and at the mercy of the desert. The desert was no longer a place of exploration. It had become a maze of survival. Their adventure had become a fight for their lives. As the sun began to set, the temperature dropped sharply. The desert, which had been scorching hot just a few hours ago, was now chillingly cold. The clear sky was replaced by a blanket of darkness, pierced only by the distant stars. The desert was transforming, revealing a side that they had not prepared for. As the sun set, the desert began to whisper its secrets. In the heart of darkness, the desert revealed its true nature. The vast, barren expanse, once a picturesque landscape, transformed into an eerie stage for the uncanny. As the night deepened, the tourists began to experience the inexplicable, the bizarre, the surreal. Every crackle of the fire, every rustle of the wind, every whisper of the sand seemed to carry a secret message, a warning. The desert, in its infinite silence, was never truly silent. The tourists felt it first as a prickling sensation, the hair on the back of their necks standing up. It was as if they were being watched, scrutinized by unseen eyes. The feeling was not just unsettling, it was unnerving, terrifying. Then there were the shadows, always lingering on the edge of their vision, flitting and fleeting. They seemed to dance and dart in the periphery, always just out of clear sight. But were they merely tricks of the moonlight? Or were they something more sinister? The tourists could not tell, and that uncertainty, that not knowing, fed their fear. And the noises. Oh, the noises. Unfamiliar otherworldly sounds pierced the desert silence. They were not the usual nocturnal symphony of insects or the distant howl of a coyote. They were guttural, raspy, and oddly human, sounds that had no business being heard in the desolation of the desert. The tourists could not shake off the feeling that they were not alone. They felt an invisible presence, an entity that defied explanation. The whispers of the wind seemed to hint at the name, Skinwalkers. The word hung heavy in the air, a chilling testament to the legends of New Mexico. The tourists, once excited adventurers, were now unwilling participants in a tale of horror. The desert, once their playground, had turned into their prison. The tourists were trapped in a nightmare, their laughter replaced with hushed whispers and wide-eyed fear. The unknown had made its presence known, and there was no escaping it. Their fear was palpable, their reality shattered. In the moonlit desert, a game of cat and mouse began. The vast expanse of sand and scrub, bathed in an ethereal glow, was no longer a picturesque landscape, but a chilling arena for a deadly chase. The group of tourists, once excited explorers, were now the terrified prey of the elusive and fearsome Skinwalkers. The encounters with these supernatural beings escalated, each one more terrifying than the last. The Skinwalkers seemed to play with their fear, drawing out the night into an endless nightmare. Their abilities, the stuff of legends and whispered campfire tales, were all too real. The Skinwalkers could mimic voices, perfectly replicating the cries for help from their friends, luring the tourists into traps set out in the labyrinth of the desert. Each time a familiar voice echoed through the eerie silence, a fresh wave of terror washed over them. They knew the voice wasn't from their friends, but the Skinwalkers' cruel trickery. Yet, the desperate hope that maybe, just maybe, it was real kept pulling at their heartstrings. The Skinwalkers were not just mimics, though. They were shapeshifters, able to take the form of any creature they desired. One moment, they were a coyote skulking in the shadows. The next, a raven perched high on a skeletal tree, watching, waiting. Their forms were cloaked in an otherworldly aura, their eyes a haunting glow in the darkness. Their most terrifying ability, however, was inducing paralyzing fear, a fear so potent it could freeze a person in their tracks, turn their blood to ice, and make their heart pound like a war drum. Despite their best efforts to keep moving, to keep running, the tourists were often stopped dead in their tracks, their bodies refusing to obey their desperate need to escape. The desert, once a place of beauty, had become a hunting ground. The sand, once warm and inviting, now felt cold and threatening beneath their feet. The moon, once a comforting presence in the night sky, now seemed to shine a spotlight on their terror. The Skinwalkers were on the hunt, and the tourists were their quarry. As dawn broke, it wasn't the sun that brought light, but the will to survive. In the heart of the New Mexico desert, our band of tourists found themselves in a battle not just against the mythic Skinwalkers, but also against the harsh elements of nature. The blazing sun, the relentless sand, and the haunting echoes of an unseen enemy were a trifecta of adversity. Yet they held on to their will to survive, a spark that was more potent than the midday sun. Each tourist, in their own unique way, began to tap into their primal instincts. They became resourceful, using whatever they found around them to their advantage. A piece of broken mirror became a signaling device, a discarded water bottle, a life-saving vessel for capturing condensation. They were not soldiers, survivalists, or adventurers. They were ordinary people, thrust into an extraordinary situation. Their determination was their compass, guiding them through the sprawling desert. They navigated the treacherous landscape, avoiding the Skinwalkers' territory, pushing through the fatigue, the fear, and the despair. They moved with a singular focus: survival. Their collective willpower, pushing them forward mile after grueling mile. Finally, they managed to escape the desert's grasp, leaving behind the eerie realm of the Skinwalkers. But this was not a victory march, rather an exodus marred by the scars of their harrowing journey. Each one of them was forever marked by the experience, changed in ways they could never have imagined. They had not just survived the desert and the Skinwalkers, they had survived their own fears, their own doubts. They had discovered within themselves a strength they didn't know they possessed, a resilience that was as enduring as the desert itself. They had escaped the clutches of the Skinwalkers, but the echoes of that night would forever haunt their dreams. Yet they had learned a lesson more valuable than any other: the power of the human spirit, the dawn of survival.